Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2, where we are on our way to do our Lay's jet engine mission. All we need to do is activate the jet engine over Lay's, and that is our current goal. Now, as you can see, we are mostly towards our escape burn here, although we're not exactly in the correct positioning here. It's undershotted a little bit. No doubt about that. I'm going to freeze the physics here, and then we're going to just bring it up this way. That'll be fine. That'll be a little quicker to get there, and that sounds good. So as we can see, we're getting lots and lots of electric charge from these Colossus panels here, currently getting 10.7 electric current per second, which actually isn't all that much, but that's because we're at a very oblique angle from the sun here. The sun is up over this way, and we can see we're not in a very good angle for this, but it doesn't matter. We're completely okay with it. We've got plenty of electric charge coming in for right now. So that looks good. We're very close to this burn point, and I actually expected that we'd be there already. But this is very slow to turn still. We are going to get rid of the vast majority of the fuel in this tank. The vast majority. And that will solve some of this turning issue. In fact, I think that'll solve most of it. The weight of this up here is quite minimal in comparison. So that looks fine. I mean, we know that this is, how many tons of fuel is that? This won't pop open until we jettison this, which I'm not currently prepared to do. But we can go into, that's not the button I wanted. Okay. Let's go back to the fly save 14. There we go. What I wanted to do is I wanted to hop into the resource manager because I wanted to check to see what those hydrogen tanks are. Okay, that's 40 tons in total. Noted. So that's 40 tons of fuel. And we have here like 135 tons. So that seems fine. We're very close right now, so I'm going to warp us on forward. And we can gimbal the rest of the way. It doesn't really matter all that much. So we're about 40 seconds here. We'll give it the 40 seconds to turn in, but we'll be there pretty quickly, I think. In theory. We do have a hard time turning here, but notice how we are energy positive right now without any solar panel flow. That's interesting. It will change somewhat as we deploy some of this, so that should be reasonably fine. We're currently about 15 seconds away from our escape burn, and that'll be absolutely fine. We'll have like 100 and some meters per second left for our inclination change, and yeah, that'll be okay. I don't mind that at all. So we're about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Those feel like real seconds, to be honest. I don't think those were fake seconds. I like it. Game is not running slowly at this time, so that is perfect. This is going to be a little bit over a 1-minute burn, and that should be absolutely fine. Now, I've not extended the antenna on our flyer just yet, and that is by design. But for now, this should be absolutely fine. The real question is, how are we going to do on the... How are we going to do on the actual communication front? That'll be interesting. No doubt about it. We're going to have to time things correctly for that, I think. But it should, in theory, be okay. I don't think we'll be lacking anything, but if we are, we can send up a communication satellite to bridge any gaps we might need. I don't think we're going to be lacking anything, though. So we've got about 30 seconds left on this burn. I'm wondering how our Delta V is going to look there. We were expecting to have like 100 and some meters per second left, maybe like 180. It might be around there. Yeah, I think it probably will be. So we've got about 10 seconds left on this burn in theory. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. It's actually basically exactly 100 meters per second left. Okay, let's see what our resulting orbit looks like. Slightly further than I would have expected. This may be where I put it at, though. That's a possibility. We need to head on over to Jewel here and set Jewel as our target. So we'll set that as target. There we go. And now, what's our inclination at? I believe it was supposed to be like 1 point something, but we need to warp to here to actually find out. There we go. Goodbye, Kerbal. Excellent. So we are now in orbital mode here. That is absolutely expected. And we're now wondering what exactly our inclination is looking like. 1.3 degrees? Okay, so we'll create a maneuver node here. And is this the correct direction? Yes, it is. Something like that. 245 meters per second. Sounds good. Let's align for that burn. Now the question is, how long are we going to take to turn here? We have burnt off a huge amount of fuel, but there's still a lot of dead weight here. There's a lot of dry mass. And we're turning incredibly slowly right now, it looks like. Almost imperceptibly. Okay. Do we want to just throw away this 100 meters per second? We probably don't need it. In fact, we definitely don't need it. It would help us turn. The question is how much? Probably enough that it's worth it. It's 100 meters per second. How much do we really care about 100 meters per second when we've got 14 kilometers per second here and we're just going to lathe, right? Like, that's not a huge deal. We are beginning to perceptibly turn. It definitely takes a while to get going, but let's go ahead and ditch this. So we're throwing away 100 meters per second there in favor of hopefully being able to turn a little bit faster. It is turning a little faster. Emphasis on the little. In retrospect, we probably shouldn't have brought the 2 hydrogen tanks here. It's a lot. But we are definitely turning faster. Okay, I think that was worth throwing away 100 meters per second for, to be honest. We are turning perceptibly faster. We're almost halfway done with this turn now. So that looks solid. We're going to get into position for this inclination change. And yeah, this turn is going much, much better. We don't need to turn quickly with this, for the record. This is just so ridiculous looking. Remember, all we need to do here is activate this jet engine in the atmosphere of Lathe, and that's exactly what we're going to look to do. We don't even need it to fly, to be honest. We just need to activate it. So that sounds great. We're just about in position for our inclination change burn here. And as we can see, our solar panels are completely useless right now. They are generating like no power, but we don't need them to generate power. This is fine. We're actually completely okay without them. We've got RTGs on here, and the RTGs are enough to power this whole thing. The solar panels are just kind of insurance. We could actually retract them, and I'm thinking about doing that, and we'll redeploy them around the time that we deploy our ComSat. So yeah, let's just retract those straight on in. We don't need them. And we are in position now for this burn. Let's warp forward a few days. There we go. And we're still a couple hours away. Our vessel is out of communication range. What? It shouldn't be. Is it actually? We're able to control. Huh. That's intriguing. Well, we're about 30 seconds away from this. And we should be fine anyway. I'm wondering what our communication system is like. Like, how does that work in KSP2? I guess we'll find out. We have full control. Yeah, we have control and connected to ComNet. It may have been the built-in antenna that went out of range in our RCs. So that's probably what happened. At any rate, we've got 5 seconds until this burn. 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay. So we are, of course, getting this inclination nice and changed. We've got 7 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark allegedly, but this is still going here. Okay, we've got some weirdness going on here. Let's see what that put us at. 0.0? Okay, I can work with that. So next up, we're going to need to go up to the apoapsis here, create a maneuver plan, and push this out to circularize, approximately. Something like that, but we can see that there's some ellipticity here that is not going to be amazing for us. It's okay. This should be good enough to get ourselves a nice rendezvous. So that'll be fine. Let's align for that burn, and of course we're going to have to turn another 90 degrees here in order to prepare for that burn. And this turn should go a fair amount faster than the last one. Yeah, we can see we're already accelerating up the turn. That looks good. That looks excellent, in fact. And we did burn off about 1 ton of fuel in that burn, it looks like. So that is certainly noted. So the idea here is we're going to deposit this in a high orbit of lathe, and then we're going to dip down, still on these hydrogen tanks, down to a low orbit of lathe, head into the atmosphere, but we want to go into the atmosphere pretty slowly. So that's going to be interesting. We'll see what that ends up looking like. We don't want this to burn up, and we don't want it to fail to light, right? All we want to do is fly a jet engine a little bit in lathe. There's not all that much that actually has to happen here. So that's the overall idea. This satellite is going to function as a relay satellite, and that will be perfect. And then we've got this antenna here if we need it. This is an insurance-only thing. I don't know if we're going to need it or not, but we'll see. Okay, so downward we go. I also don't know if we can deploy it when we don't have control. Probably not. You wouldn't be able to do that in KSP-1. So we'll keep an eye on that. We're almost in position for this burn, this circularization burn, and that looks excellent. There's a lot of wiggling going on here, no doubt about that. But we're nearly in position regardless. We're definitely turning a lot faster at this point, so that looks solid. So this is going to be another 1723 meters per second. Almost in position here, just waiting for us to get just over this marker. We're very, very close now. Beautiful. This is probably good enough. Let's warp on forward. And we're just heading up to that apoapsis. So this all looks good. Our orbital velocity is dropping, which we of course expect as we approach the apoapsis. And of course, there's the sun down over there. But we've got about 4 hours at this point till our burn. It doesn't really matter that much how precisely we do this burn, but let's get it a little closer than this. 2 minutes, 1 minute, 20 seconds, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Excellent. So this is going to be about a 2-minute burn here. That looks good. Let's check in on this situation here. So, where are we in relation to Joule right now? Noted. This orbit may be a little too high. I think we're not going to aim for the circularization. We're going to aim for about here or so. I'd like to be outside of the orbit of Dress, but about equally outside of the orbit of Dress as we are here. The reason being, I feel like we're a little off on our timing here, and I don't want to have to make multiple orbits if we can help it. So that's fine. Let's just push this up, and we can do this a little faster. Let's go to like 10x here. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting this throttle a little early here. We're passing the orbit of Dress right now. I want it to be, like I said, right about here or so. I just don't think we need to push this up quite as far as we have scoped out here in this maneuver node. So just a little bit more here. About here. We're going to call that good. So that is fine for now. We're off by 0.3 degrees on the ascending node. Okay, whatever. It's fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be scoping out a maneuver that will get us an encounter with Jewel. And the question is, what's this timing like? Yeah, as expected, this timing isn't fantastic. So we can bring this around over here, and obviously this is a little bit too much DV over this way. So I wish I could see underneath this. I guess we'll turn the camera like so. That's a Julian encounter there. Okay, so if we take a look at what this encounter looks like, that's actually a pretty solid encounter. We're going to take that as is. 307 meters per second for that. That is not a big deal. So now we need to turn. And how much do we need to turn? Well, this is going to be a pretty hefty turn. I think this is going to be like a... This is going to be like 100 and some degrees for sure. Where are we right now? We are currently here. Going up to here. Yeah, we can see the node is over here. It's going to be a while on this turn. No doubt about it. I really wish we could physics warp it, but we cannot. So we'll just have to deal with this. Once we get there, we're going to do a braking burn. We're going to do an inclination change to lathe, and then we're going to do a Hohmann transfer into a maximal lathe orbit. We don't care what the inclination of that orbit is, really. As long as we still have ComNet. That is the important thing here, which we should have ComNet basically forever. At least within the Kerbal system. So, that looks good. This turn is definitely continuing nicely. Yeah, we're getting much better turn rates now. I like it. It is certainly still a little awkward, but it's getting there. We're going to burn off a good amount of fuel from our transfer, from our braking burn, from our inclination change, from our Hohmann transfer, from our braking burn, and then we're going to be deploying our satellite there, and the satellite will have approximately 10 trillion meters per second in it. Way more than it needs. It needs basically none. This is going to deliver it right to its orbit. The satellite is wildly overbuilt. But this is what happens when you don't have a budget. When the only thing that matters is getting science. You have a blank check, things get overbuilt. That's just the way it is. So at this point, of course, we are nearly at the position for our Hohmann transfer burn, and that burn is going to be in a while. This is going to be a couple years. I think that's very, very clear. And let's just continue to head on over here. We're going to warp as soon as we are pretty close to this thing. In fact, we are very, very close to it now. Let's go ahead and warp as of now. Cool. So we're warping on over. This is going to be a fairly lengthy warp, several years long, which is expected when we're going out to the Julian system. Especially when we don't bother to wait for a decent transfer window. Cool. We'll be getting there pretty soon, but it's definitely going to take some time. We're going to be coasting for a good long time here. So where are we in our orbit right now? Let's find out. Yeah, we're going to be there very shortly. Cool. But that was certainly very long for the Kerbals on the ground. Keep in mind, we've been playing this for 184 years. So, there's that. These are some old Kerbals at this point. We're going to warp forward a little further than this. This is like 4 hours away still. So let's head on forward, and let's bring this in to about, let's see, that's 2 minutes, 1 minute, and this is 20 seconds, 10, and 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Commencing burn. This will only be about another 20 seconds or so here. So this is all looking phenomenal. 10 more seconds in this burn, and we will be stopping this burn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. A little further than that, I think. We're overshooting. Okay, let's take a look at what this resulting burn is. So we currently have an encounter with Jewel. What encounter? Okay, I want to be locked to prograde here. We can pull this in a little bit. Actually, this is fine. This is completely and totally fine. We're going to be coming in this way. We don't really care all that much. So we're going to be coming in this direction, and Lathe, of course, is going in this direction. So that should be prograde, assuming I'm reading this correctly. I'm not. We're going to be coming in this way, going out this way. So we're going to be going this direction. Lathe is going this direction. Yeah, we're retrograde to Lathe. But that's fine. I don't care about that. I think we're okay. We can always flip our directionality over Lathe if we feel like we need to. So this seems fine for right now, and what I want to do at this moment is warp us up to that Julian encounter. So we're going to warp to about here. It will pull us out slightly before then. Let's bring this right on up, and we'll be in this Julian encounter for a while. But we're going to be doing a braking burn here, and then an inclination change, almost for sure. I'm not sure what our inclination differentiation is going to look like. We'll see. But in we come here. And yeah, as expected, they're going around this way. And we're going to be coming in this way. So we will actually be going the correct direction, won't we? Sure. Did I mess that up again? Maybe, but we'll find out. Out of electric charge. No, we're not. We're not out of electric charge. We have 2015. We can't use our electric charge, in fact. So let's circularize this up. Get ourselves a bit of a braking burn going. Nice and big around the other planets here. Or I guess moons. And we'll align for that burn. We're going to have to turn a fair amount here, but every time we have to turn here, our turn rate is getting higher and higher. Yeah, we're definitely getting a turn in here. This is going to be only 240 meters per second to circularize this, so that's really not too bad. I want to come in and set Lathe at this point as our target. Apparently, I can't right-click it. That's cool. Okay, we can from here. Perfect. So we can see our inclination is going to be about 6 degrees away. Noted. We're definitely going to want to fix that. We're a little too inclined here. So that looks fine. We already planned for an inclination change, so that is absolutely A-okay. This turn is going to take a little while. It looks like we can see it right up over here. That's not going to be too bad. We're turning at a reasonable speed here, so it's all okay. We're going to be working our way through this fuel as well. I did expect this braking burn to be a little bit more than 240 meters per second, but this is a really nice encounter, to be honest. Like, this is a really, really solid encounter. So, it's not optimal, but it's reasonably close to optimal. So we'll take it. We've got so much DV that it really doesn't matter. Our payload is extremely light, and this is extremely powerful in terms of Delta V, so it's all good. We're going to burn off a lot of our speed as we enter Lathe with a retrograde burn, and then we'll release this guy somewhere in the atmosphere, and then this is just going to crash, is the idea. But we do need to burn off quite a lot of speed at Lathe. No doubt about that, as we come in. So that's going to be definitely a thing. We're going to need a fair amount of DV left over for that. I think we've got more than enough. We're going to be throwing away quite a lot of fuel here. That's okay. This whole thing is kind of a throwaway project, so it is what it is. So we're about lined up for this braking burn, and we're going to warp to that very, very shortly here. Just a moment on that one. Okay, this is probably close-ish enough. And let's warp on forward. Looks good. So we're just falling down towards that apoapsis, or rather that periapsis, and we can see we're only moving at 900 meters per second here. That's not shocking. We're still about 4 hours away, 3.5 hours. So let's warp forward a little bit further, and we are 2 minutes, 1 minute, and 30 seconds away at this point. I'm going to pull us out of warp fully, because our goal right now is going to need to be to get anchored a little bit more here, but we're very, very close, to be honest. I think it's fine to warp forward a little. 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay. So we're going to push forward here. We are struggling to hold attitude a little bit on the position here. Might be a little over gimbaled. Maybe. But we've got 5 seconds left in this burn. We're just letting this come on down and roughly circularize. This is pretty close. Yeah, this'll do here. No worries there. So now we are circularized, but we are pretty far off in our inclination. So let's hop over to here, create a maneuver plan, and we're going to need to change this by 6 degrees. Not that way. Okay, that's a little too much. There we go. 71 meters per second only. Wow, okay. We are not going to have any problems with that. That is fine. It's going to take some time to turn here, though, and this seems like a reasonable time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will be done with this turn and ready to head in to Lathe and finish this mission. I'm hoping to finish it next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.